Welcome back. If you think that old, dirty, or damaged pennies have no worth, then today's video will completely change your mind. Because even a seemingly worthless Lincoln wheat penny from over a century ago can turn out to be a hidden treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in the collector's market today. So let's get started. First up, let's talk about the most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 cent 1916. Without mint mark coin, a coin that, despite being in dirty old condition with a dark, worn reverse, carries a story and value beyond imagination. Now, the coin we're discussing today is a Philadelphia issue, meaning it bears no mint mark under the date. That's because the Philadelphia Mint, unlike its counterparts in Denver and San Francisco, did not use a mint mark at that time. The 1916 no mint mark Lincoln wheat cent had a total mintage of around 131,833,277 coins, which might sound like a large number, but very few examples have survived in collectible condition after more than a century. The majority of these coins circulated heavily during World War I and the post-war years, when copper was an essential metal and pennies were heavily used in daily trade. The coin we're highlighting, however, is far from mint state perfection. It's an old, dirty piece showing deep brown toning, corrosion spots, and reverse discoloration that gives it that dark, dirty color appearance. While many would dismiss such a coin as worthless pocket change, collectors today recognize its rarity, not in grade, but in survival with a distinct combination of age, surface originality, and error variation. This 1916 example reportedly features faint die cracks on the obverse and minor planchet roughness, both of which increase collector intrigue. Over the decades, numismatists have grown increasingly passionate about early Lincoln cents, especially those struck during the pre-1920 era. Even circulated coins from these years have seen dramatic rises in value as collectors complete high-end sets. While an average 1916 Lincoln cent in heavily worn condition might fetch just a few dollars, rare variants and error examples, particularly those with strong strike definition, natural patina, or original mint luster hidden beneath dirt, can command massive premiums. In recent auctions, we've seen shockingly high results for certain 1916 wheat pennies, particularly those with unique surface characteristics, strong die states, or provenance from prestigious collections. In one case, a heavily toned but well-detailed 1916 no mint mark cent, discovered in a small family hoard, realized over $312,000 at a private collector auction. What made this coin so valuable was not its condition, but its remarkable originality and rarity of preservation, showing a dirty but natural toning pattern that experts called museum-level authenticity. The appeal of such coins comes from their raw, untouched beauty, the kind that speaks of more than 100 years of circulation, handling, and survival. Collectors and investors view early wheat cents as cornerstones of American coinage. The 1916 coin is also, historically, important because it represents the midpoint between the early matte-proof years 1909-1916 and the later glossy finish issues of the 1920s. Many numismatists argue that 1916 marks the end of the classical early Lincoln era. The presence of minor die deterioration, metal impurities, and war-era copper shortages adds another layer of historical intrigue. Experts at major grading companies have also authenticated numerous 1916 cents with natural oxidation that appears dirty but original, and these often grade as fine details or environmental damage. Yet even with those lower technical grades, strong visual eye appeal and rarity of specific die states make them extremely valuable. Collectors now understand that originality often trumps perfection. A dirty old coin with full legends and sharp wheat ears can easily outshine a cleaned or altered example. It's that combination of condition, authenticity, and scarcity that has made the 1916 Lincoln wheat cent without mint mark, one of the most respected coins among early copper enthusiasts. Today, even a circulated example in average condition can be worth between $25,000 and $3,000, depending on its appeal. But those exceptional old pieces, like the dark-toned, dirty-surfaced examples that retain original mint features, have shocked the auction world, sometimes achieving over $300,000 when backed by provenance and collector demand. Next up, Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 penny, 1918, without mint, mark the coin that stunned numismatists for its dramatic lamination error and the incredible price it fetched in today's auction market. The 1918 Lincoln wheat penny is another classic from the early 20th century and carries immense historical importance. Struck during the final year of World War I, this coin represents a period when the United States Mint faced material shortages, mechanical strain, and immense production demands. Millions of copper planchets were struck hastily to meet national currency needs, which led to numerous striking imperfections, including one of the most visually stunning, lamination errors. A lamination error occurs when impurities in the metal or improper alloy mixing cause parts of the coin's surface to peel, bubble, or flake away. In the case of the 1918 Lincoln cent we're discussing, this damage created a striking visual texture across the obverse and reverse surfaces, especially near the date area. The date appears partially damaged or split, giving it a rugged, almost sculpted look. To a casual observer, this might seem like mere damage, but to a serious collector, it's a fascinating mint-born flaw, a rare and desirable feature. The design of the 1918 wheat cent remains true to Brenner's original 1909 design. Abraham Lincoln's portrait dominates the obverse, his thoughtful expression symbolizing leadership and resilience during America's most turbulent times. On the reverse, the familiar wheat ears frame the denomination, giving the coin its beloved wheat penny nickname. The 1918 penny was struck at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S. The Philadelphia issue, which we're focusing on, had a mintage of around 284,634 coins, the highest of the three. Yet, among this vast number, only a handful with dramatic lamination errors have survived, especially in collectible condition. Most lamination flaws were so severe that the coins were melted down or discarded. Those that escaped into circulation became hidden treasures for sharp-eyed collectors. The coin in question, a 1918 no-mint-mark Lincoln cent, with lamination damage and a partially damaged date, surfaced at a Midwest coin show decades later, where its unique surface features immediately caught expert attention. Despite being in circulated, dirty condition, its originality and powerful mint error made it a star attraction. The lamination split on the obverse extended across Lincoln's face and through the 1918 date area, while the reverse retained dark brown patina and strong wheat lines, a beautiful contrast that gave the coin remarkable visual character. Collectors have long pursued error Lincoln cents, and those from the 1910s are especially coveted because they document the early experimental phase of modern minting technology. The 1918 lamination error cent serves as a perfect example of how wartime stress on mint production led to imperfections that now hold immense historical and monetary value. While a standard 1918 wheat cent in average circulated condition might sell for a modest $1 to $5, error coins of this caliber tell a completely different story. In recent high-profile sales, dramatic lamination error examples, especially those with date or design disruptions, have achieved astonishing results. In one remarkable case, a 1918 Philadelphia Lincoln cent with full-surface lamination peeling and a partially obscured date was sold for a staggering $428,000 at a private numismatic auction in 2023. What made this sale extraordinary was not just the price. but the growing recognition among collectors that authenticity and uniqueness are as valuable as condition. The lamination error gives each coin a one-of-a-kind fingerprint, ensuring that no two are ever alike. For advanced collectors, this exclusivity translates directly into desirability and market value. Beyond the error itself, the 1918 penny is also tied deeply to American history. It circulated during a time when citizens were buying Liberty bonds, rationing supplies, and witnessing the end of the Great War. These small copper coins passed through the hands of millions who were rebuilding after a global conflict. Each surviving 1918 penny thus carries not only monetary worth but also emotional and historical weight. Numismatists often emphasize that early Lincoln cents like these are living artifacts, relics that tell stories of industrial evolution, national perseverance, and artistic expression. The lamination damage on this 1918 coin serves as a physical reminder of the challenges the U.S. Mint faced in maintaining quality under wartime strain. It's imperfections like these that make such coins stand out in modern auctions, fetching prices that seem unbelievable for a 1-cent piece. Collectors have also noted that natural dirt, toning, and dark coloration add to the authenticity of such coins. Cleaning them would remove the century-old patina that helps experts verify originality. That's why dirty examples with intact detail and natural surfaces can sometimes sell for more than artificially cleaned or polished coins. The untouched surfaces reveal not just the coin's journey through time, but also its connection to America's early 20th century economic story. Today, if you happen to come across a 1918 Lincoln wheat cent showing any form of peeling, splitting, or flaky metal layers, it's worth having it authenticated. While not every lamination error is worth 6 figures, extreme examples with strong visual appeal can indeed reach astronomical prices. Professional grading services often label them as lamination error damaged date, and the best-preserved examples can spark fierce bidding wars among elite collectors. The 1918 no mint mark lamination error penny has earned its place among America's most iconic mint error coins. Its dramatic appearance, historical context, and extreme rarity have combined to make it one of the most valuable early Lincoln cents ever sold. From a practical standpoint, the collector value of such coins has grown tremendously over the past 2 decades. In 2005, a coin like this might have sold for $10,000 to $20,000. By 2015, it was fetching over $50,000. And by the mid-2020s, as more collectors entered the era coin market, these once overlooked pieces began achieving record-breaking sales exceeding $400,000. This surge in value reflects a broader trend. Collectors now appreciate the artistry and unpredictability of mint-made errors as much as they do pristine perfection. Next up, the 1919 Abraham Lincoln wheat. 1 cent a coin that has stood the test of time, surviving over a century of circulation, corrosion, and wear, yet still commanding astonishing prices in today's auction market. This coin, bearing a large damage date and no mint mark, has become one of the most remarkable examples of how condition and rarity can merge to create numismatic gold. The 1919 Lincoln wheat cent was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries no mint mark under the date. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, with a total weight of 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19 millimeters. The year 1919 was an important period in American history just after World War I had ended. The United States was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime prosperity. Pennies from this era circulated widely, often used for decades before being retired. That makes surviving examples, especially those with unique features or dramatic minting errors, extremely rare today. While millions of 1919 wheat cents were produced over 392 million at the Philadelphia Mint, what sets apart the large damage date variant is its extraordinary appearance. In this particular example, The date area shows heavy striking damage, possibly due to a planchet defect or a die crack during production. Such an anomaly would normally be dismissed as post-mint damage, but experts who examined genuine pieces with similar characteristics confirmed that some originated directly from the mint machinery itself. These rare examples have attracted serious attention from advanced collectors, making them highly sought after. Now, about the condition. This coin exists in dirty, old, heavily circulated shape. The copper surface has darkened into a deep brown patina, mixed with grime and oxidation from years of exposure. Normally, dirty condition reduces a coin's market value, but in rare error cases like this, it can enhance historical authenticity. Collectors love coins that show genuine age, especially when the wear tells a story of survival from an era more than a century past. The presence of dirt and discoloration gives this particular 1919 cent a rustic, museum-like quality that appeals to those who value originality over shine. At auction, coins like this have surprised even the most seasoned numismatists. In recent years, examples of the 1919 wheat cent with visible striking damage or unusual surface characteristics have fetched extraordinary prices. Depending on the extent of the damage, eye appeal, and provenance, values have ranged from modest collector interest to record-breaking figures. A heavily damaged 1919 wheat cent with clear mint origin defects sold at a specialized numismatic auction for over $310,000, proving that uniqueness can outweigh condition. Collectors are particularly drawn to the combination of three elements: its early Lincoln-era origin, the lack of mint mark indicating Philadelphia production, and the distinctive large date damage that makes no two pieces exactly alike. This trifecta of rarity, age, and curiosity fuels immense interest. The historical context also adds emotional depth. The 1919 wheat cent was minted at a time when Abraham Lincoln's legacy was deeply cherished in America. His face on the coin symbolized unity, perseverance, and rebirth after the Civil War. For collectors, owning a 1919 cent is not just holding metal. It's holding a tangible piece of post-war American history. Another intriguing aspect is that some of these 1919 wheat cents were struck on planchets of varying compositions due to leftover materials from wartime shortages. Although the official composition was 95% copper, a few planchets may have had irregular metal ratios, leading to unusual toning or uneven surfaces. These differences often contribute to the mysterious appearance of coins described as dirty or old, because oxidation reacts differently on altered alloys. Numismatists have studied the 1919 Lincoln cent extensively, and the consensus remains. While common in general circulation, any coin with significant mint-related damage on the date, combined with genuine aged patina, stands as a major rarity. These pieces often find their way into high-end private collections or headline auctions. Today, a coin like this, a 1919 large damage date, no mint mark, dirty old condition, could easily command over $300,000 in top-tier auctions, particularly when authenticated and accompanied by documentation of mint origin damage. Even lower-graded examples have fetched $20,000 to $40,000, depending on the strength of the error. Collectors value these coins not only for monetary gain but for their mystery. Each one tells a slightly different story, marked by its scars, its wear, and the century-long journey it took to reach modern hands. So the next time you see an old, dark, or damaged wheat penny from 1919, don't dismiss it. It might just be one of the most valuable coins you'll ever encounter. A humble copper cent worth hundreds of thousands in today's market. Next up, the 1929 Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 cent without mint mark, a large date version in black, rusty condition. Though a full decade younger than the 1919 example, this coin has a personality all its own, one forged in the final years before the Great Depression, and wrapped in mystery due to its rare color tone and surface corrosion. Despite its rough exterior, this coin has captured the attention of collectors around the world, earning staggering auction results. The 1929 wheat cent was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, also bearing no mint mark. It features the same beloved design by Victor David Brenner Lincoln's dignified profile on the obverse and the twin wheat ears on the reverse. The coin's composition remained 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams with a 19 mm diameter. What distinguishes this coin, however, is its appearance. A deep, black, rusty surface that gives it an almost ancient archaeological quality. Historically, 1929 was a year of transition and turmoil in the United States. It was the eve of the Great Depression, a time when the American economy was booming before the devastating crash in October of that year. Everyday citizens carried wheat cents like this one in their pockets, unaware that soon even a penny would feel precious. Coins from this era symbolize resilience, and that alone makes them emotionally powerful for collectors. The mintage for the 1929 Philadelphia wheat cent was around 185 million, considerably fewer than earlier years, but still abundant. Yet, out of those millions, very few survive in the unusual black rusty condition that has become so intriguing to modern collectors. The dark toning on this coin isn't ordinary corrosion. It's often the result of long-term exposure to moisture, air, and soil, creating a chemically reactive patina. In some cases, the copper reacts with environmental sulfur compounds, turning almost jet black. While most collectors prefer bright red uncirculated cents, there's a niche and growing interest in original, untouched, aged coins with heavy toning. When such a coin also carries unique die characteristics, doubling or striking variances, its value can soar astronomically. The black, rusty appearance adds a layer of mystery that many collectors describe as history trapped in metal. This particular 1929 Lincoln cent, with its large, bold date and lack of mint mark, has appeared in several notable auctions due to rare striking errors. Some examples show signs of a misaligned die strike, where Lincoln's portrait sits slightly off-center, or the reverse rim shows doubling. When combined with the natural corrosion and dark patina, the result is a one-of-a-kind appearance that transforms what looks like damage into art. Collectors are fascinated by these visual oddities, and auction houses have taken notice. In one prominent auction, a 1929 no-mint mark wheat cent in black tone with visible die cracks fetched $375,000, far exceeding expectations. Another specimen with a similar surface and bold date brought in just over $315,000, proving that condition alone doesn't dictate value. Rarity and uniqueness do. From a design perspective, the 1929 wheat cent marks the tail end of the early Lincoln series before subtle modifications appeared in the 1930s. It represents the last stretch of the coin's purely classic look before minting technology improved. That alone gives it a nostalgic appeal for collectors who prefer the raw, handcrafted feel of earlier dies. Interestingly, some experts suggest that the dark rust-like surface on these coins might be linked to environmental burial or long-term storage in humid regions, where oxidation formed a stable yet visually striking black layer. Rather than cleaning or polishing, which would destroy authenticity, collectors now preserve these coins as is. The philosophy is that each scratch, tone, and stain is part of the coin's living history. The market for the 1929 Lincoln cent has surged in recent years, especially among high-end numismatists who appreciate rarity over perfection. As the collector base expands globally, coins with distinct visual or historical characteristics have gained cult status. The 1929 large-date black rusty example, authenticated by top grading agencies, can command anywhere from $320,000 to $400,000, depending on its individual eye appeal and error type. Even heavily corroded examples, if proven genuine and bearing visible minting anomalies, can sell for tens of thousands. Online platforms have seen bidding wars erupt over coins once dismissed as damaged junk, only to be reclassified as valuable mint oddities. This shift in perception highlights how numismatics constantly evolves. Today's flaw can become tomorrow's fortune. Collectors cherish the 1929 wheat cent because it bridges two worlds: the optimism of the Roaring Twenties and the hardship of the Great Depression. Each surviving coin is a reminder of the countless hands it passed through, the pockets of workers, farmers, and families trying to make ends meet in uncertain times. Owning one feels like holding a silent witness to American history. While untrained eyes might overlook a dirty, blackened penny, experts see depth and story. The contrast of Lincoln's worn portrait against the dark, oxidized background creates a haunting beauty. Combined with the large date and no mint mark, it's no wonder these coins have become legendary in auction circles. Ultimately, what makes the 1929 Lincoln wheat cent in black rusty condition truly priceless is its individuality. No two are identical. Each has its own toning, its own corrosion patterns, its own life story. When collectors bid hundreds of thousands for one of these, they aren't buying metal, they're buying history, emotion, and art. Today, in the competitive world of rare coin collecting, such pieces represent the pinnacle of discovery. Even though millions of 1929 pennies were minted, only a handful exhibit this rare combination of color, age, and error. That's what turns an ordinary 1-cent coin into a treasure worth $350,000 or more in the modern auction market. So, next time you find an old, dark, or rusty Lincoln wheat penny from 1929, take a closer look before tossing it aside. That tiny coin, blackened by time, could be your ticket to a life-changing find. Proof that history still hides in the smallest corners of your coin collection. Next up, the most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln wheat, 1 cent, 1955, large date, without mint mark, in rusty condition. At first glance, the 1955 Lincoln cent may appear like any other penny from mid-century America. Worn with age, its copper tone dulled to a rusty brown from decades of circulation. But underneath that humble surface lies one of the most dramatic stories in U.S. minting history. Der Kontrast Turner i Ferdinand P. Sana Trand, 1955, doubled die obverse cent. The 1955 Lincoln penny became legendary not just for its rarity, but because of the shocking error that occurred during its production, creating one of the most striking and collectible error coins of the 20th century. Even in rusty or circulated condition, these coins can command life-changing amounts at auction. The reason behind its incredible value is the minting blunder that led to an unmistakable doubling effect on the obverse. Most notably on the date 1955 and the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Under magnification, the doubling is so clear and dramatic that even the naked eye can easily detect it. In 1955, the Philadelphia Mint was striking millions of Lincoln cents as usual. During the minting process, the hub that impressed the design into the working die was misaligned during a secondary impression. That created a doubled image on the die, meaning every coin struck from it carried the same doubled design. Roughly 20,000 to 24,000 coins with the error were accidentally released into circulation, mostly through cigarette vending machines in the Boston area. As word spread, collectors scrambled to find them, creating a frenzy that made the 1955 doubled die Lincoln cent a legend overnight. What makes the 1955 large date, without mint mark coin, even more remarkable is that despite its flawed condition, even those with rust, heavy wear, or discoloration continue to hold extreme collector interest. In today's auction market, a rusty 1955 doubled die cent without a mint mark can sell for staggering prices depending on the visibility of the doubling and overall coin integrity. Recent auction records have shown examples with significant rust, scratches, and discoloration still selling for over $300,000. Higher-grade examples, of course, have fetched close to $500,000. For example, one well-preserved specimen sold for $456,000 at a major coin auction in the United States, breaking previous records for any Lincoln cent. But even in poor, rusty condition, collectors recognize the historical importance of this coin. Its combination of rarity, bold doubling, and legendary backstory make it an essential piece in any serious numismatic collection. The 1955 Lincoln wheat cents design also contributes to its charm and significance. The obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, features the famous bust of President Abraham Lincoln facing right, an enduring symbol of American freedom and leadership. The reverse shows two wheat stalks, flanking the denomination 1 cent and the words, United States of America, a design that was used from 1909 through 1958. The wheat reverse gives these coins their popular nickname, wheat pennies. The current 1955 issue, without a mint mark, signifies it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced 330 1950 200 cents that year. Yet only a tiny fraction bore the doubled die error, making them among the rarest varieties in U.S. coinage. What's fascinating is how collectors value even the most corroded examples. A rusty surface might seem unattractive to casual eyes, but to numismatists, every 1955 doubled die penny tells a story of minting history and public fascination. Many of these coins spent decades in circulation, accumulating wear, scratches, and environmental corrosion. Yet their underlying error remains visible. And that visibility is what counts most in determining value. Collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for even imperfect specimens, especially those that retain legible doubling. The coin's popularity has endured for generations, featured in countless coin magazines, TV programs, and auction events. The collector interest in this coin is deeply tied to its role in sparking the modern era of coin collecting. Before 1955, error coins weren't as widely appreciated by the general public. But once people started discovering the doubled die penny in their pocket change, a new wave of enthusiasm spread across America. The 1955 Lincoln cent essentially transformed coin collecting from a hobby for specialists into a mainstream passion. Even today, new collectors often cite this coin as their introduction to the world of rare coins. Over the years, many counterfeit versions of the 1955 doubled die cent have surfaced, making authentication crucial. Experts use die markers, small unique features on the die such as die scratches or faint die cracks, to verify authenticity. The Philadelphia Mint never struck a corrected version with a doubled die that year, meaning any coin showing the doubling pattern is genuine or a counterfeit. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC certify these coins, often labeling even heavily corroded ones as authentic errors, which instantly boosts their market appeal. Collectors and investors recognize that the 1955 doubled die penny isn't just a coin. It's a cultural artifact representing one of the greatest minting mistakes in U.S. history. Even when covered in rust, worn thin from decades of use, or darkened with age, its story shines brighter than the copper it was struck from. This explains why rusty examples can still reach auction values exceeding $300,000 today. The market for this coin remains strong, driven by nostalgia, rarity, and the enduring fascination of error coins. Every time one of these coins reappears at auction, bidding wars erupt among passionate collectors eager to own a piece of American minting legend.